Greetings, Mike Bickle here in Kansas City at the International House of Prayer. I want to give a greeting with a team of friends and leaders here around the room to the Allah's Return Center right there in the Galilee and Haim. We've been hearing stories about you, and to the whole body of Yeshua throughout the Galilee and the land. We're standing with you, we're praying for you, and it's a partnership in the Holy Spirit that we're involved in. And Dean, you're here with us with the team. Just give them a quick scan around the room, just real quick.
Hi. Hi, Chaim.
Come on, Mom.
Hi, son.
I'm going to take just a real short moment and give you a terrible artistic rendition of some things that are in our heart that we're asking the Lord to confirm. We're excited by these. And some of it's confirmed, some of it's just thinking outside the box, but the Lord will make it clear. We have a piece of property of 160 acres, and it's right on the major interstate, literally on Interstate 49. And this was Harry S. Truman's former property. He lived on this property. And in 1983, near 40 years ago, Bob Jones prophesied to me when I met him, God was going to put us on Harry S. Truman's property one day as a sign and a wonder and a prophetic declaration of God's saving purposes for Israel. And we lived, our church was quite a bit a distance away from there, but in a miraculous way, this property was given to us debt-free as a free gift. And we received it 50 years to the day, which is a remarkable, that Harry S. Truman sold his property to a Jewish family called the Goldbergs, and the Goldbergs sold it to IHOP, and it closed on the very same day, January 27th, 1958, Truman to Goldbergs, January 27, 1958. Goldbergs to IHOP, January 27, 2008, 50 years to the day. This Jubilee property, we have it debt-free, and this Jubilee property is returning to its rightful owner, the intercession movement for Israel. Because Truman was a political intercessor for Israel, though I don't know if he knew it, and we are dedicated to this property for spiritual intercession for Israel to see 100 million intercessors raised up across the earth, working with thousands of ministries to cry out for the salvation of Israel and for the glory of God to fill the earth. So on this piece of property, we're thinking outside the box. We're imagining, we've looked at some other properties that are quite beautiful, aesthetically beautiful and elaborate, and they've kind of given us a little paradigm shift of what could happen on this property. And so the first thing, none of this is actual, okay? Meaning it may be all different. As we progress, we will have smart guys, engineers, architects, that will say, no, you can't do it this way, you got to do it that way. So understand, I don't really know what I'm talking about when I lay it out here, because it's all filled with trees. So we want to get a master plan and move the right trees so we have the right land for a master plan. So ultimately, one day, we want to see what we call the United Nations of Prayer. And the United Nations of Prayer, IHOP will be a part of this facility. I'm just making up this number. It'd be like 1 million square feet, a real big facility with prayer rooms and facilities for all kinds of prayer ministries from around the nations, United Nations of Prayer. Because Truman, we're thinking of naming this the Truman Legacy Park. And Truman's legacy was intercession for Israel politically. Truman's legacy, he started the United Nations, and Truman's legacy is that he was the president in recent times that took on civil rights and racial reconciliation. And he stood against the tide. And so we want to have those three things represented on this Truman Legacy Park. So the United Nations of Prayer, this is probably the end of the story. This is maybe 10 years from now, this giant building. But I imagine that in front of this, we have this big circle of flags like at the United Nations, and it's like I don't know the number, but a circle, 100 flags on 20-foot poles, and right in the center is a 50-foot pole with a flag twice as big as the others of Israel. And we got 150,000 people every morning and evening coming down this highway, seeing that Israel flag, the United Nations, that's chief among the nations, with fountains in here, with a projected United Nations, a prayer here, with the whole IHOP ministry fitting in a portion of this in terms of our prayer ministry, I mean. And so then I'm looking at this land developing, and we've seen models of this in other places where, like, we looked at one the other night where this one part of the land, there's like 25 multi-million-dollar houses that an investor, a developer built, and then individuals buy the house. Then they have about 25, $500,000 houses, like quite a bit less. And then they got apartments and condos and a number of 7 different types of living facilities for different economics and da-da-da-da. And that is a revenue stream because people, they're all filled. And they've got a really nice, one of the nicest hotels in Kansas City built on the land. And restaurants, all kinds of things. I don't want to get into that because that could go 100 different ways. But this becomes a revenue stream that investors, they own their stuff. We own the land, but we make arrangements with them. They develop it. And then there's 3 or 4 small ponds or little lakes or something with fountains on the inside, several fountains, each one of them. Lots of spatial ground with big walkways and parks and all kinds of park things. Over here, recreation for family, for children. And that this one park in Kansas City, they have done this and they gave that to the city itself, and they put a phenomenal family centers and da-da-da-da. The park itself paid for it. But let's move this family center out of the way and put it over here. I see this is what really excites me here. This is a walkway that's got an overhead, and maybe the overhead is 15 feet. It's a big walkway. Maybe it's 100 or 200 yards this way at the back of the land, and 100 or 200 yards this way. I don't really know, but lots of yards. And here we have all these different sections of it, and I've got as 10 or 20, maybe 20, 25 ideas of what this could be. I'm sure half of them won't happen, but we can think outside the box. Like one of them would be the Holocaust exhibition that we connect with Israel, and we say, hey, can we get some of your footage? So we have these video screens here with ear things with all different languages, 8 or 10 video presentations under this one, and we'll drive everybody to you, but let us use your stuff here. Because this Truman legacy part, the Holocaust. The next one, maybe the history of Israel itself. There could be 10 different video presentations, all different languages. One of them, like in Israel, is the Truman memorial. I've never seen it, but several people have said it. It's amazing. They tell the Truman story. I'm just assuming it's amazing. We ask each of these different groups, could we have some of your footage, and we'll drive everyone to you if you'll let us do that. Well, there's about 15 or 20 different things to do. It's this walkway. So we got this park, and this beautiful park with these fountains, these open broad walks and open spaces and picnic places. So it's really the front yard for these housing developments. And so they want to be in this housing because this is their front yard. And they got nice hotels and restaurants. And so, but the Israel part here, we talk to universities, high schools, Bible schools, and say, hey, come and take a tour of this. We have all kinds of prayer centers and prayer walks. And I'm thinking of somewhere, I'm sure it won't be there, but like a wailing wall where it's like 50 feet long, 20 feet high, big rocks. And right in the middle of it is a screen 10 feet by 10 feet showing a live feed of the Wailing Wall of Jerusalem. Live right there. And then we connect that to other prayer rooms across the earth. So people get to see a Wailing Wall, all these different exhibitions about Israel. We're training them. We have an Aliyah Center somewhere in here where people learn about Aliyah, not just Jews to return, but Gentiles to support them, showing the biblical and the many implications of that. Anyway, there's 25 different things we could do there. We wouldn't have enough space for all of them. A group of people will decide which are which. I don't care. I just want to see the possibility of Israel a prophetic statement to Israel being declared across the earth, a prophetic statement of God's purposes for the salvation of Israel. And so I see over here, well, I don't know where because I'm out of space, but over here, again, some smart guys will lay it out, a place maybe where we have a room for 1,000 tents with some facilities and water and stuff like, where every year we have a Feast of Tabernacles where they literally stay in the tents for the 7 days. And we get top teachers from Israel and people, we advertise it and they have to make reservations because we got all kinds of housing and restaurants and stuff around because this whole area around Grandview is starting to develop and it's a beautiful area. Potentially where it's going is going to be really beautiful is what I really mean. But anyway, a Feast of Tabernacles where we don't do it cheesy, but really do it, and people will really stay in the tents. And we have seminars. And our Bible school, the IHOP University, is about a half a mile away. It's 100,000 square feet. We have all kinds of rooms and media capacities. So we could have seminars in here. We'll have a Feast of Tabernacle. Because there's a group of people in the earth that literally would stay in the tents. Now, I would personally stay in the hotel, but I'd come out for the tent for the dinner. But a lot of folks, especially young people, they go, "Are you kidding? This is the real deal." And it just goes on and on and on. There's kind of no end to what we could do. These investors, that would be a revenue stream for them. So they have their sanctified selfishness for why they like it. We don't want to do that. We just want to get the right people with right legal covenants with us. So if we get the right godly men and women that are the top investors, they're in unity with the purpose. The people that buy the houses might not all be, but they're this whole thing in their front yard, the highway coming here, the Israel